The transport ship doors opened with a hiss, and Corporal Hyun-woo Park stepped onto the metal floor of Typhon 7 station. He carried a single bag over his shoulder. His uniform was clean but worn. He stood 5 feet 9 inches tall, which was average for a human. But on this station he looked like a child. Around him, alien cadets moved through the arrival bay. The smallest of them stood 7 feet tall. Most were closer to 9 or 10 feet. They had scales, fur, extra arms, and bodies built like living tanks. Han-woo walked between them like a mouse among lions. A reptilian creature with dark green scales turned to look at him. The alien's eyes were yellow and cold. "What is that?" it asked its companion, pointing at Hyun-woo. "A human," another alien replied. This one had blue fur and 4 arms. From Earth, their ship was destroyed 3 weeks ago. This one survived. The green reptilian laughed. The sound was deep and harsh. That tiny thing survived? How? Hyun-woo kept walking. He had learned long ago that some battles were not worth fighting. His dark eyes stayed forward, taking in everything around him. The ceiling was high. The corridors were wide. Everything was built for giants. He found his way to the registration desk. A bored-looking alien with purple skin looked down at him. She had to lean over the counter to see him properly. "Name?" she asked. "Corporal Hyun-woo Park, Earth Defense Force." She typed something into her computer. "You're in Barracks 7. Combat trials start tomorrow at dawn. Try not to die on the first day." She said it like a joke, but her eyes said she meant it. Hyun-woo took his room assignment and left. Behind him he heard her tell another cadet, "Poor creature. Humans have no chance here." Barracks 7 was a long room filled with beds. Each bed was too large for Hyun-woo. He chose one in the corner and set down his bag. Other cadets were already there, and they stared at him with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. A massive alien with stone-like gray skin walked over. Each of his steps made the floor shake slightly. "You're in the wrong place, little one," he said. His voice sounded like grinding rocks. "This is the warrior barracks." "I know," Hyun-woo replied calmly. The stone alien laughed. Others joined in. "A warrior? You?" He reached out one huge hand and patted Hyun-woo on the head like a pet. "Your whole planet has no real predators. Your gravity is weak. Your sun is gentle. What kind of warriors come from such a soft world?" Hyun-woo said nothing. He simply looked up at the alien with steady eyes. After a moment, the stone creature seemed uncomfortable and pulled his hand back. "Whatever," the alien muttered. "You will be gone after tomorrow anyway." That night, Hyun-woo lay in his too large bed and stared at the ceiling. He thought about Earth. He thought about his unit, all dead now, floating in the wreckage of their ship. He was the only survivor because he had been in the escape pod bay when the attack came. Just luck? Nothing more. Now he was here, surrounded by aliens who saw him as a joke. A weak thing from a weak world. He closed his eyes and slept lightly, the way soldiers learn to sleep. Dawn came early. A loud horn blasted through the barracks. Han-woo was already awake and dressed. Other cadets stumbled out of their beds, some still half asleep. They gathered in the training hall. It was enormous, with high walls and a floor covered in sand and dirt. At the front stood an alien who made all the others look small. He was 8 feet tall with red scales and arms thick with muscle. His eyes were like yellow fire. "I am Instructor Dae-yun," he announced. His voice filled the entire hall. "You are here because your worlds think you are warriors. I am here to prove most of you wrong." His eyes scanned the crowd and stopped on Hyun-woo. "Some of you are already proven wrong just by standing here." Laughter rippled through the cadets. "Today we begin combat trials," Dae-yun continued. "You will fight. You will bleed. Some of you will break. This is how we find the strong." He pointed at random cadets, assigning partners. When he reached Hyun-woo, a cruel smile crossed his reptilian face. "The human will fight me?" The hall went silent. Then someone laughed. Then everyone laughed. Dae-yun stepped into the center of the training ring. Han-woo walked to meet him. He knew how this would go. He had seen it before. Begin, shouted another instructor from the side. Dai-Yun moved fast for something so large. His clawed hand shot out and grabbed Hyun-Woo by the shoulder. The grip was crushing. With no effort at all, Dai-Yun lifted Hyun-Woo off the ground and threw him. Hyun-Woo hit the sand hard. The air left his lungs. Pain shot through his ribs. He rolled to his feet just as Dai-Yun's foot came down where his head had been. Is this the best Earth offers? Dai-Yun mocked. Hyun-Woo tried to move in close, to use speed and technique. But Dai-Yun's reach was too long, his strength too great. Every block sent shocks through Hyun-Woo's arms. Every hit that landed felt like being struck by a truck. After 2 minutes, Hyun-Woo was on his knees, breathing hard. Blood ran from his nose. Enough, Dai-Yun said. This is boring. He walked away, leaving Hyun-Woo in the sand. The other cadets whispered and laughed. Hyun-Woo stood up slowly and walked back to his place in line. His face showed nothing. No anger, no shame. Just calm. Throughout the day, he watched the other fights. He watched how each species moved, how they attacked, how they defended. He memorized their patterns and their weaknesses. At lunch, a female cadet approached him. She was human too, with short black hair and kind eyes. I'm Yejin, she said. I saw your fight. Are you okay? I'm fine, Hyun-Woo replied. Don't let them get to you, Yejin said. We humans have to stick together here. Before Hyun-Woo could respond, 3 large aliens surrounded them. One was covered in blue fur with sharp teeth. Look, it said. The 2 humans found each other. How cute. Another alien, this one with insect-like features, clicked its mandibles. Maybe they can hold hands while they fail. The 3rd alien, a creature with purple scales, reached out and grabbed Yejin's arm. Let's see if humans bruise easily. Something changed in Hyun-Woo's eyes. The calm expression vanished. What replaced it was cold and empty and dark. He stepped between Yejin and the purple alien. Let her go, Hyun-Woo said quietly. The purple alien laughed. But then it looked into Hyun-Woo's eyes and stopped laughing. Something in that gaze made its blood run cold. An instinct deep in its brain screamed danger. The alien let go of Yejin and stepped back. Whatever, it muttered. Not worth my time. The 3 aliens left quickly, each one suddenly uncomfortable without knowing why. Yejin stared at Hyun-Woo. What did you do? Nothing, Hyun-Woo replied. The cold look was gone, replaced by calm again. That evening, announcements echoed through the station. Attention all cadets. In 3 days, Supreme Hunter Kale of the Cravath will arrive. He seeks warriors for a critical mission. Trials will be held. Only the worthy will be chosen. The barracks exploded with excited chatter. Everyone knew about the Cravath. They were the apex predators of the galaxy, the hunters that even other predators feared. And Kale was their greatest living warrior. Hyun-Woo sat on his bed and cleaned his boots. Around him, aliens boasted about their chances of being chosen. They flexed their muscles and showed off their claws and fangs. None of them noticed the small human in the corner, watching them all with patient, calculating eyes. Eyes that had seen prey before. Eyes that knew how to wait. In 3 days, everything would change. The transport ships descended through thick clouds. Below them stretched an endless jungle, dark green and alive with danger. This was Verdalis 3, a planet used for only one purpose, testing warriors. Hyun-Woo sat among 99 other cadets in the transport bay. The ship smelled like sweat and fear. Around him, aliens checked their weapons and armor. They were allowed basic equipment, a knife, a canteen, and light armor. Nothing more. Instructor Dai-Yun stood at the front. The rules are simple, he announced. Survive 7 days. The last 10 cadets standing will join Supreme Hunter Kale's strike force. Everyone else fails. He paused. Training drones will hunt you. Other cadets may hunt you. The jungle itself will try to kill you. If you wish to quit, activate your emergency beacon. You will be extracted immediately and marked as a failure. A massive Vrexian cadet named Sojin laughed. 7 days? I have survived worse on my homeworld. I have 200 confirmed kills in battle. Others nodded and boasted about their own achievements. Haiyan Wu remained quiet, his hands resting calmly on his knees. The transport doors opened. Hot, humid air rushed in. The smell of rotting vegetation and animal musk filled their noses. Go! Dae-yun shouted. 100 cadets jumped from the transport into the jungle below. Some used their wings to glide. Others crashed through trees with their armored bodies. Haiyan Wu fell, grabbed a branch, swung to another, and landed softly on the jungle floor. Within seconds, the other cadets had vanished in different directions. The jungle was vast, and everyone wanted to find the best hiding spot or hunting ground. Haiyan Wu knelt and touched the ground. The soil was soft and wet. Good for tracking. He looked up at the canopy. Thick vines hung everywhere. Good for moving quietly above ground. He listened. Birds, insects, the distant sound of something large moving through water. He picked a direction and began to move. But he did not run. He walked slowly, carefully, making almost no sound. He disturbed no branches. He left few tracks. Within an hour, he had disappeared into the jungle like smoke. 3 days passed. In the observation room above the planet, Supreme Hunter Kale watched the screens. He sat in a chair built to support his massive frame. 12 feet tall, covered in obsidian scales that seemed to drink the light, with 4 arms and eyes that glowed like amber flames. He was 800 years old and had seen countless warriors in his long life. Beside him stood Ji-won, his second in command. She was Kravath as well, though smaller at only 9 feet. 32 cadets have already quit, she reported. 17 were eliminated by training drones. 8 were injured badly enough to trigger automatic extraction. Kale barely moved. His eyes tracked multiple screens at once. And the rest? Surviving. Some better than others. Ji-won pointed to one screen showing Sujin. The big Vrexian had killed 2 drones and was eating their power cores for some reason. That one is strong but stupid. Kale's eyes moved to another screen. A female Netheri named Suyang was using her insect-like body to blend perfectly with the tree bark. That one understands stillness. Then his eyes stopped on one screen. It showed a section of jungle. Nothing moved. Nothing seemed out of place. Where is the human? Kale asked. Ji-won checked her tablet. Cadet Haiyan Wu Park, his beacon signal shows he is ... She frowned. He should be in Sector 7. That is Sector 7 on the screen. I see no human. Neither do I. Ji-won zoomed in on the image. Still nothing. Kale leaned forward slightly. Interesting. On the jungle floor, Haiyan Wu lay completely still beneath a layer of mud and leaves. He had been there for 3 hours, watching a game trail. His breathing was so slow it was almost invisible. His heart rate had dropped to that of deep sleep, a technique he had learned in Special Forces training. Earlier that morning he had found tracks. A group of 5 cadets moving together, led by a large alien with stone-like skin. They were hunting other cadets, using their combined strength to eliminate competition. Haiyan Wu had followed them for 6 hours. They never knew he was there. He learned their patterns, their tactics, their blind spots. Then he circled ahead and set up position here, on the trail he knew they would use. Now he waited. Patience was a human weapon. On Earth, ancient humans had hunted animals much faster and stronger than themselves. They did not chase prey down in minutes. They followed it for hours, days, weeks if necessary. They tracked it until the animal was too tired to run anymore. Until it made a mistake. Haiyan Wu could wait. He was good at waiting. The group appeared exactly when he predicted. 5 aliens, armed and confident. They talked loudly, making jokes about the weak cadets they would eliminate next. Haiyan Wu did not move. Not yet. They passed within 10 feet of him. None of them saw him. How could they? He looked like part of the jungle floor. After they passed, Haiyan Wu slowly rose. Mud and leaves fell from his body. He followed them again, silent as death. That night, the group made camp. They posted 1 guard and went to sleep, Feeling safe in their numbers, Hyeon Woo waited until the darkest hour before dawn. Then he moved. The guard was a Vrexian with excellent night vision, but he was watching the jungle around the camp. He was not watching the trees above. Hyeon Woo had climbed up an hour ago and had been hanging motionless from a branch directly over the camp top. Now he descended on a vine, silent and slow. He reached the ground behind the guard. In one smooth motion, he pressed a nerve cluster on the guard's neck. The alien slumped unconscious without making a sound. Hyeon Woo activated the guard's emergency beacon and moved to the next cadet. One by one, he neutralized them. Pressure points. Nerve strikes. Choke holds applied until they passed out. Each time he activated their beacons. By dawn, all 5 were being extracted by recovery drones. They never even knew who had eliminated them. Hyeon Woo was gone before the drones arrived. In the observation room, Kale stood up. His forearms crossed over his chest. On the screen, recovery drones were pulling unconscious cadets from the jungle. What happened? Jiwon asked. Kale pointed at the timestamp. Watch the replay. Sector 12. Night vision mode. They watched the footage. At first, nothing. Then if you knew where to look, you could see it. A shadow that moved like liquid. A shape that seemed to be part of the darkness itself. The human, Kale said softly. He has been hunting them for 2 days. Impossible, Jiwon replied. How did they not see him? Because he did not want to be seen. Kale's eyes glowed brighter. He's using old methods. Pursuit, predation, stalking, psychological warfare. He's not trying to overpower them. He is exhausting them, frightening them, making them make mistakes. But he is so small, Jiwon said. Size means nothing to a true hunter. Kale sat back down, his full attention now on the screen showing Sector 7, where the human had disappeared again. Your Earth cheetah is fast. Your Earth elephant is strong. But your Earth human? Your human can run farther than both. Can think better than both, can outlast both? He paused. I have not seen tactics like this in 300 years. By day 5, 64 cadets had been eliminated. The jungle had claimed some. Drones had claimed others. And something else was claiming them too. Cadets were being found unconscious, their beacons activated. With no sign of what had attacked them, fear spread among the remaining cadets. They formed larger groups for protection. They set elaborate traps and guards. One group, led by Daeyeon himself, decided to hunt the hunter. Something is picking us off, Daeyeon told his group of 12 cadets. We will find it and kill it. They moved through the jungle in formation, weapons ready, eyes alert. They were the strongest cadets remaining. Each one was a proven warrior. They found tracks. Small tracks, human-sized. The Terran, Daeyeon growled. That tiny thing has been doing this? They followed the tracks to a small clearing. In the center, a crude shelter had been built. Surround it, Daeyeon ordered. The group moved in carefully. They rushed the shelter from all sides. It was empty. Just leaves and branches arranged to look like someone had been there. A trap, someone shouted, but it was not a trap. It was a test. Han Wu was watching from 300 yards away, hidden in the thick foliage. He had left the false shelter to see how they would react. Now he knew their tactics, their formation, their coordination. He did not attack them. Not yet. They were too many and too alert. Instead, he followed them. For 2 days, he shadowed their group. He was always there, always watching, always just out of sight. Sometimes they felt eyes on them. Sometimes they heard a branch move. Sometimes they found signs that someone had been in their camp while they slept. The psychological pressure built. They stopped sleeping well. They jumped at every sound. They began to argue with each other. On day 7, 3 of them quit and activated their beacons. The stress was too much. Daeyeon screamed in rage, but there was nothing he could do. The human was invisible. He was everywhere and nowhere. In the observation room, Kale stood. It is time, he announced. Time for what? Jiwon asked. Time for me to join the hunt. Kale's eyes blazed with excitement. I must meet this human myself. 13 cadets remained when Supreme Hunter Kale descended to the jungle in his personal drop pod. The pod landed like a meteor, shaking the trees and sending animals fleeing in terror. Kale emerged. 12 feet of muscle and scale and predatory grace. His forearms flexed. His claws extended. He took a deep breath of the jungle air and smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. The jungle went silent when Kale began to move. Birds stopped singing. Insects stopped buzzing. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Every living thing on Verdalis 3 could sense the apex predator walking among them. Kale moved through the dense vegetation, with impossible grace for something so large. His forearms pushed aside branches without making a sound. His clawed feet found purchase on wet ground without slipping. His amber eyes scanned everything, seeing heat signatures, tracking scents, analyzing every broken leaf and disturbed stone. "Where are you, little ones?" he whispered to the jungle. "Where are my final warriors hiding?" The remaining 13 cadets had scattered in terror when they felt Kale's arrival. They knew the stories. Supreme Hunter Kale did not simply eliminate candidates. He hunted them as if they were real prey. Few survived encounters with him during selection trials. One cadet, a Crystallix warrior named Terran, had climbed high into the canopy. His crystalline body refracted light, making him nearly invisible among the leaves. He barely breathed, watching the jungle floor below. Kale walked beneath him. Terran stayed absolutely still. "Do not move. Do not even think." "Maybe he will pass by." Kale stopped. His head tilted. Then, without looking up, he spoke. "Your heart beats too fast, Crystal One. I can hear it from here." Before Terran could react, Kale's lower right arm shot upward. His claws wrapped around the branch 60 feet above. He pulled. The entire tree bent. Terran fell, tumbling through branches. He landed hard on the ground, dazed. Kale stood over him. "You hid well, but fear gave you away. Fear has a smell." He activated Terran's emergency beacon. "You are eliminated." As the extraction drone descended, Kale moved on. 12 left to find Dot in the observation room. Jawan tracked Kale's progress. "He has found 3 more in the past hour," she reported to the other instructors. "The Goroth, the Savari, and one of the Vrexians." "Where is the human?" Instructor Dayan asked. His pride still stung from being outmaneuvered by something so small. Jawan checked her display. "Beacon shows he is in Sector 19, but ... She enhanced the image. "I still cannot see him." "Kale is moving toward Sector 19 now," an instructor observed. They all leaned forward to watch. This would be entertaining. The tiny human against the greatest hunter in the galaxy. Hyun Woo crouched beside a stream, washing mud from his hands. His body was covered in bruises and cuts from 7 days in the jungle. He had not eaten in 2 days. His water was nearly gone. Every muscle ached with exhaustion, but his eyes were clear. His hands were steady. He felt the change in the jungle before he heard it. The silence that fell like a blanket. He looked up and knew immediately. Kale was coming. Most prey would run. Hanwoo did not. Running from an apex predator was suicide. Instead, he made a choice that went against all survival instinct. He would track Kale. Hyun-woo moved away from the stream, circling wide. He found Kale's trail within minutes. The Supreme Hunter left few signs, but Hyun-woo had been trained by the best trackers on Earth. A bent blade of grass here. A stone pressed slightly deeper into soil there. The faint scent of something alien and powerful, he followed. Kale found the Netheri cadet Sueong next. She had buried herself in the ground with only her eyes and breathing holes visible. It was perfect camouflage. Kale walked past her hiding spot. Sueong felt relief flood through her. He had not seen her. Then Kale stopped. "Clever," he said. "But you breathe through tubes?" "Tubes that disturb the air." "I feel the disturbance." He reached down and pulled her from the earth. "You have good instincts. You will do well." He activated her beacon anyway. "But not good enough today." 8 cadets left. Kale continued his hunt. He found them one by one. A Mekran hiding in a cave. of Rexian concealed in a tree hollow. Each time, he demonstrated why he was called Supreme Hunter. Each cadet had hidden well. Each cadet had made only the smallest mistake. Kale found every mistake. The day wore on. Only 4 cadets remained. The massive Gorath named Minseok, an experienced Silvari scout, Instructor Daeyeon himself, who refused to quit, and Hyan-Wu. In the observation room, instructors watched in confusion. "The human is following Kale," one instructor said. "Is he insane?" "Look at the time stamp," Jaewon said quietly. "He has been following Kale for 16 hours. Everyone went quiet. "That is impossible," Daeyeon said. "No one can track Kale. He is too careful, and yet." Jiwon pointed at the screen. "If you watched very carefully, you could see tiny signs. A shadow that moved when it should not. A branch that swayed without wind. The human is there, always 300 yards behind. Never closer, never farther." Kale eliminated Minseok at sunset. The Gorath had been hiding behind a waterfall. Good strategy. The water noise masked sounds. But Kale simply waited until Minseok had to come out for air. 3 left. Kale found the Silvari scout in darkness. Her night vision was excellent, but Kale's was better. 2 left. Daeyeon and Hyan-Wu. Night fell. Kale stood in a clearing and looked up at the stars. "I know you are there, human," he called out. "I have known for 12 hours. In the darkness, 300 yards away, Hyan-Wu froze. "You think you are tracking me," Kale continued. "But I have been allowing it. I wanted to see how long you could follow, how long you could endure." Kale's eyes glowed in the darkness. 16 hours without rest. Never getting closer, never falling behind. Like a shadow, like a ghost, like death that walks slowly but always catches up. Kale began to move again, faster now. "Let us see if you can keep up, little human." What followed was a test of endurance that would become legend. Kale moved through the jungle at a pace that would exhaust most creatures in an hour. He leaped between trees, ran up cliff sides, crossed rivers, pushed through thorns and over rocks. Hyan-Wu followed. He could not match Kale's strength or speed. But he did not need to. When Kale leaped between trees, Hyan-Wu found paths on the ground. When Kale climbed cliffs, Hyan-Wu found slopes. When Kale crossed rivers in one bound, Hyan-Wu swam. He was slower. But he never stopped. Hours passed. Dawn came. The jungle heated. Kale ran. Hyan-Wu followed. In the observation room, even the instructors were exhausted from watching. 23 hours, Jaewon whispered. "The human has been pursuing for 23 hours without stopping. How is that possible?" An instructor asked. "He should have collapsed hours ago." "Humans do not have the fastest running speed," Jaewon said quietly. She had been researching human biology all night. "But they have the greatest endurance of any hunting species in known space. On their world, they hunted prey by following it until the prey could not run anymore. They called it persistence hunting." "That is horrifying," someone said. "Yes," Jaewon agreed. "Yes, it is." Kale felt something he had not felt in centuries. Not fear, not exhaustion, but respect. The human should have given up hours ago. Should have collapsed. Should have quit, but still, when Kale looked back, he saw signs. The human was there. Always there. Never stopping. Like the tide? Like the seasons? Like time itself. Inevitable. Kale found himself smiling. Then laughing. A deep, rumbling sound that echoed through the jungle. He stopped running. 20-6 hours after the chase began. Kale stood in a clearing at dawn. The sun rose behind him, painting the sky gold and red. Hyan-Wu emerged from the jungle. He was a mess. His uniform was torn. His body was covered in cuts and scratches. His face was gaunt with exhaustion. He could barely stand, but he stood. The two of them faced each other. The 12-foot apex predator and the 5'9" human. Kale expected the human to attack. Or to collapse. Instead, Hyan-Wu simply stood there, breathing hard. Meeting Kale's eyes without fear or submission, Kale moved forward. Hyan-Wu did not back away. Kale circled him slowly. He sniffed the air around the human, studied him, saw the exhaustion, saw the pain, saw the absolute refusal to quit. "You could not defeat me in combat," Kale said softly. "No," Hyun-woo replied. His voice was rough. "You could not outrun me. No, you could not hide from me. No, so you did the only thing you could. You followed until I stopped." Kale completed his circle and stood in front of Hyun-woo again. "You are persistence itself? You are the long death, the slow end, the hunter that never stops hunting?" Kale did something that shocked everyone watching. He lowered himself down until his eyes were level with Hyun-woo's. Then he pressed his forehead against the human's forehead. It was the Kravath gesture of recognizing an equal. "You are Kravath in spirit, Hyun-woo Park of Earth," Kale said. "You are kin." In the observation room, silence. Then Jiwon spoke quietly. "He has never done that before?" "Not in 800 years. Kale stood and activated both Hyun-woo's beacon and his own. "The trial is over. We return together. What about the last cadet?" Hyun-woo asked. "Dae-yeon is still out there." Kale looked toward the jungle where Dae-yeon hid. "He is strong and fast. But he hid while you hunted. He survived while you pursued. There is no comparison." He looked back at Hyun-woo. "You have shown me something I thought was lost in this galaxy. True hunter instinct. Patience combined with absolute determination." The extraction ship descended. As they boarded, Kale placed one massive hand on Hyun-woo's shoulder. "They mocked you, did they not? Called you weak? Called your world soft?" "Yes," Hyun-woo said. "They did not understand. Strength is temporary. Speed fades. Even fangs and claws break." Kale's eyes glowed. "But a hunter who never stops? That is eternal." The Endless Maw was not like other ships. It was grown, not built. Kravath technology used living materials, and the ship's corridors looked like the inside of a great beast. The walls pulsed slightly with bioluminescent patterns. The air smelled of something wild and ancient. Hyun-woo walked these corridors beside warriors who had once mocked him. Now they gave him space. Watched him with different eyes. Word had spread fast about what happened on VRDL is -3. The human had hunted the Supreme Hunter himself. Kale's quarters were at the ship's center, a massive chamber that served as both living space and war room. When Hyun-woo entered, he found Kale examining a holographic display of star systems. "You rest poorly," Kale observed without turning around. "I sleep enough," Hyun-woo replied. "Enough to survive? Not enough to be strong." Kale dismissed the hologram and turned to face him. "You push yourself past limits because you think you must prove something. You do not. Not anymore." Kale gestured to a chair. It was too large for Hyun-woo, like everything on the ship, but he sat. "Do you know why I recognized you as kin?" Kale asked. "Because I followed you." "No, many have followed me. Some for days. Some were strong. Some were clever." Kale's forearms crossed over his chest. "I recognized you because you reminded me of what my people once were." Hyun-woo listened. "Kravath were not always apex predators," Kale continued. "Millions of years ago, we were prey, small, weak. We had no great claws, no thick scales, no venom or natural weapons. We were food for larger creatures." This surprised Hyun-woo. Looking at Kale now, 12 feet of pure predatory power, it seemed impossible. "But we survived," Kale said. "We survived because we were smart, because we worked together, and because we never stopped. When larger predators hunted us, we did not outrun them. We outlasted them. We tracked them back to their dens. We learned their patterns. We struck when they were vulnerable. Over millions of years, we evolved. We grew larger, stronger, faster, but we never forgot what made us survive in the beginning." Kale leaned forward. "Intelligence, patience, refusal to quit. These are the true weapons of an apex predator. Everything else is just decoration. Then why does everyone focus on strength?" Hyun-woo asked. "Because they are fools." Kale's eyes glowed. Strength is easy to see, easy to measure. It makes warriors feel powerful. But real power? Real power is being the thing that never stops coming. That is what you showed me. That is what your species is. Over the following weeks, training began. But it was not the training Haiyan Wu expected. The squad room held the 10 warriors who had passed the trials. Besides Haiyan Wu, there was Suyaon the Netheri, who had hidden so well in the ground. There was Minseok the Goroth, massive and strong. There was Byung-ho, a Mechron with cybernetic enhancements, and 6 others, each one a proven warrior from their species. Kale stood before them. You were chosen not because you are the strongest, not because you are the fastest. You were chosen because you survived when others quit. That shows me you can learn. He pointed at Haiyan Wu. Today the human will teach you. Shock rippled through the group. Minseok spoke up. Teach us what? He is the smallest here. The weakest. Exactly, Kale replied. Which is why he is still alive. If he was strong, he would fight directly and lose. Since he is not strong, he must be smart. I want you to learn what that means. Haiyan Wu stood and faced the group. He felt their doubt. Their confusion. Good doubt made people pay attention. How do humans hunt? Haiyan Wu asked them. With weapons? Byung-ho answered. Technology. Before technology, Haiyan Wu clarified. Thousands of years ago. How did my ancestors hunt? No one answered. They picked an animal, Haiyan Wu explained. Something big, fast, strong, an antelope or a deer. Then they followed it. Not fast, just steady. The animal would run away. My ancestors would follow. The animal would run again. My ancestors would follow again. This would continue for hours. Days sometimes. The animal would get tired, would need to rest. But every time it stopped, the humans would appear again. Eventually, the animal was too tired to run. Then the humans would kill it. That is cowardly, one warrior muttered. That is effective, Kale corrected. Continue, Haiyan Wu. In combat, you cannot always be the strongest, Haiyan Wu said. But you can always be the most patient. You can always be the one who does not quit. You can always be the one who thinks clearly when others panic. He had them run drills, not strength drills, not speed drills, endurance drills, mental endurance. He had them wait in uncomfortable positions for hours, had them track each other through the ship's corridors, had them plan ambush that used intelligence instead of force, the warriors complained. This was not glorious combat training. This was boring, tedious, exactly Haiyan Wu's point. War is not glorious most of the time, he told them. War is waiting, watching, being cold and wet and tired and still doing your job. If you need to feel heroic to fight well, you will lose. Taeyeon, the Crystallix warrior who had joined the squad later, grew frustrated. I did not join to learn patience. I joined to fight. Then fight me, Haiyan Wu offered. Taeyeon laughed. You are serious? Yes, no rules. First one to yield loses. The squad gathered to watch. This would be quick and embarrassing for the human. The fight began. Taeyeon rushed forward, using his superior speed and strength. He was bigger, stronger, had longer reach. Every advantage was his. Haiyan Wu did not try to match strength. He dodged, moved, kept distance. After 10 minutes, Taeyeon was frustrated but not tired. After 30 minutes, Taeyeon was breathing harder. After an hour, Taeyeon was exhausted. His movements were sloppy. His defense was weak. Haiyan Wu had barely broken a sweat. He had been controlling the pace of the fight, making Taeyeon waste energy while he conserved his own. When Taeyeon finally collapsed from exhaustion, Haiyan Wu stood over him. You were stronger, Haiyan Wu said. You were faster. You should have won, but I outlasted you. That is the lesson. Kale, watching from the doorway, nodded in approval. This is what I wanted you to see. Power without endurance is useless. Strength without strategy is wasted. From that day, the warriors trained differently. They learned human tactics. Ambush predation. Coordinated group hunting. setting traps and lures, fighting smart instead of just fighting hard. More importantly, they learned to think like persistence hunters, to be patient, to wait for the right moment, to understand that sometimes the best victory was simply being the one still standing when everyone else had quit. A month into their journey, another human ship joined the fleet. It brought reinforcements, including a human soldier named Minho. He was older than Hyunwoo. A sergeant with gray in his hair and scars on his face. Minho found Hyunwoo in the training room. "Heard about you," Minho said. "The human who made the great Kale respect him." "I got lucky," Hyunwoo replied. "Luck?" Minho laughed. "You survived 7 days in a death jungle, then tracked the galaxy's greatest hunter for a full day without rest. That is not luck. That is being human." They trained together. Minho taught Hyunwoo tactics from Earth's special forces. Urban warfare, hostage rescue, demolitions, things the aliens had never seen. The squad watched and learned. Su-yang was particularly interested in the concept of bounding overwatch, where team members covered each other's movement. Her insect-like body made her excellent. At rapid position changes, Minseok learned about strong point. Defense, where his massive strength could be used to hold critical positions while others maneuvered. Each warrior found ways to combine their natural abilities with human tactics. One evening, Kale called Hyunwoo to the war room. The holographic display showed a dark planet surrounded by ships. "This is our target," Kale explained. "Hive World Omega Theta 9. A hive mind entity has consumed 47 worlds. 3 strike teams have tried to destroy it. All failed. What makes us different?" Hyunwoo asked. Kale looked at him. "Because now I understand what was missing from those other teams. They had strength. They had technology. But they did not have endurance. They did not have patience." He pointed at Hyunwoo. "They did not have humans. You think I can make a difference? I think your species survived and conquered your entire planet not because you were the strongest, but because you never gave up. That is what we need here." Kale's forearms spread across the display. "The hive mind is strong. It is vast. But it has never faced something like humanity. Something that does not know when to quit." Hyunwoo studied the planet. It looked like a nightmare. Organic structures covered the surface like a disease. Ships came and went, feeding the hive resources from consumed worlds. "When do we attack?" Hyunwoo asked. 3 days. "I want you to co-lead the operation with Ji-won." "Me? I am just a corporal." "Rank means nothing here," Kale said. "You have proven yourself. More than that, you think differently than we do. The hive mind is intelligent. It will expect tactics like ours. It will not expect tactics like yours." Hyunwoo looked at the dark planet again. 3 teams had failed. Countless warriors had died. And now Kale was trusting him to help lead the mission. "I will not let you down," Hyunwoo said. "I know you will not." Kale placed a massive hand on Hyunwoo's shoulder. "Because letting me down would mean quitting. And humans do not quit. They endure. They persist. They win by simply refusing to lose." Kale's eyes glowed in the darkness of the war room. "In 3 days, we will show the hive mind what true apex predators look like." Omega Theta 9 hung in space like a diseased organ. What was once a living planet was now covered in black and purple tissue. Massive organic towers grew from the surface, pulsing with sickly light. Ships made of bone and sinew moved between the towers, bringing resources to feed the hive mind. The endless maw approached under stealth mode. In the drop bay, Hyunwoo checked his equipment one last time. His hands moved automatically, muscle memory from 1,000 inspections. Weapon loaded. Armor sealed. Comes functional. Around him, 9 other warriors prepared. Each one was silent, focused. They knew what they faced. 3 teams had come before them. 3 teams had died. Kale entered the bay. His massive form filled the doorway. "Final briefing," he announced. The team gathered. Kale activated a hologram showing the hive structure. "The core is here, 3 miles underground. That is where the Overmind lives. Destroy it and the entire hive world dies. How do we reach it? Su-yang asked. Ji-won will lead Alpha Team through the main entrance. She will draw the hive's attention. Kale pointed to another route. Han Wu will lead Bravo Team through the waste processing tunnels. The hive does not guard them well because they are toxic. But humans can survive toxic environments better than most species. Han Wu nodded. His team would be him, Minho, Su-yang, and Byung-ho. Once inside, you have 1 hour to plant the payload and extract, Kale continued. After 1 hour, the hive will adapt its defenses. After 2 hours, extraction becomes impossible. After 3 hours, you will be consumed. Cheerful, Minho muttered. Kale looked at each warrior. I have fought for 800 years. I have seen empires rise and fall. This hive mind is one of the greatest threats I have encountered. If we fail, it will continue consuming worlds until nothing is left. His eyes glowed brighter. But we will not fail. Because we have something it does not understand. We have the will to never quit. The drop pods launched. They fell through the atmosphere like meteors. The hive's defense systems fired at them, but the pods were designed to absorb damage. They crashed into the planet's surface in different locations. Hyunwoo's pod hit hard. The impact would have killed a normal human, but his armor absorbed most of it. The pod door exploded outward, and he rolled out with weapon ready. The landscape was a nightmare. The ground was made of flesh that pulsed under his feet. The air smelled like rotten copper. Organic structures stretched in every direction. Breathing and moving on their own, Minho, Su-yang, and Byung-ho emerged from their pods. They formed up quickly, weapons scanning for threats. Waste tunnel entrance is 200 yards north, Hyun-woo said. Move fast but quiet. Go. They ran across the flesh ground. It was slippery and warm. Things moved beneath the surface. Small creatures made of the hive's tissue skittered away from them. The tunnel entrance was a sphincter-like opening that pulsed open and closed. They timed their entry and dove through between pulses. Inside was worse. The tunnel walls were covered in slime. The smell was overpowering. Toxic fumes made their air filters work overtime. This is disgusting, Minho said. Stay focused, Hyun-woo replied. Su-chan, you have point. Your sensors can detect movement better than ours. Su-yang moved ahead, her insect-like body navigating the tunnel with ease. Behind her, the others followed in tactical formation. They had gone half a mile when Suong raised a fist. Stop. Everyone froze. Ahead, something large moved in the darkness. A bio-construct? Part organic, part machine. It had too many legs and no visible eyes, but it could sense them. Hyun-woo hand signaled. Byung-ho left flank. Minho right flank. Su-yang and I center. On my mark, 3, 2, 1, mark, they opened fire. The bio-construct screamed, a sound that hurt their ears. It charged at them, massive jaws opening. Byung-ho's cybernetic strength let him hold his ground. His shots tore into the creature's legs. Minho aimed for the exposed organic parts. Su-yang used her insectoid speed to dart in and plant explosives on its underbelly. The creature fell. They kept moving. Contact in Sector 7. Ji-won's voice came through the comms. Heavy resistance? Drawing them to us. Acknowledged, Han-woo replied. Bravo team proceeding to objective. They went deeper. The tunnels twisted and branched. Twice they had to double back when tunnels closed ahead of them. The hive was aware of their presence now. It was trying to trap them. A wall of flesh suddenly grew across their path. Minho pulled out thermal charges. Stand back. The charges melted through the wall. On the other side, they found themselves in a large chamber. The floor was covered in pools of digestive acid. The ceiling dripped with toxic slime. Cross using the support structures, Hyun-woo said. Pointing at bone-like pillars that crossed the chamber, they moved carefully, balancing on the narrow structures. Halfway across, bioconstructs emerged from the walls. Flying creatures with razor wings. Keep moving, Hyun-woo shouted. Don't stop. They ran and fired at the same time. Su-Yang's natural agility kept her ahead. Byung-Ho's heavy frame made the structures crack under his weight. Min-Ho provided covering fire. One creature got through their defenses. It slashed at Hyun-Woo's back. His armor held, but the impact knocked him off balance. He fell. Min-Ho grabbed his arm, catching him before he fell into the acid. "I've got you." They pulled each other up and kept moving. The team reached the other side just as the structures began to collapse. They dove through the exit as the chamber behind them filled with acid and dying creatures. "Everyone okay?" Hyun-Woo asked. "Giwan's team is taking heavy casualties," Su-Yang reported, listening to comms. "They are pinned down in Sector 3. Hyun-Woo checked his tactical display. They were close to the core now. Maybe 10 more minutes? But if they rushed, they would die. If they went slow, Giwan's team would die. He made a decision. "We proceed to objective. Giwan's sacrifice cannot be wasted." It was a hard choice. But it was the right choice. War meant making hard choices. They entered the final corridor. At the end was a massive chamber. In the center, suspended by organic cables, was the core. It pulsed with purple light. It was beautiful and terrible. "That is it," Byung-Ho whispered. "The Overmind." They moved into the chamber. Immediately, they felt pressure in their minds. A presence, vast, ancient, intelligent. "What are you?" A voice spoke directly into their thoughts. It was not a sound. It was feeling, an idea, and command all at once. "I have consumed countless species, absorbed their knowledge. But you are different. Small, weak. Why do you not fall?" Hyun-Woo stepped forward. "Because we are human. Human." The Overmind tested the word. "I have seen your kind in the absorbed memories of others. Soft bodies. Slow speed. No natural weapons. You should be prey. What makes you think you can kill me?" Bioconstructs began emerging from the walls. Hundreds of them. All shapes and sizes. Each one designed to kill. "Min-Ho, plant the charges," Hyun-Woo ordered. "We will hold them." "There are too many," Su-Yang said. "I know. Do it anyway." What followed was impossible to describe as a battle. It was a storm of violence. Bioconstructs came in waves. The team fired until their weapons overheated. They switched to close combat when ammunition ran low. They fought with fists and claws and pure desperate will. Byung-Ho's cybernetic implants burned out from overuse. He kept fighting. Su-Yang's carapace cracked. She kept fighting. Min-Ho took a hit that would have killed most beings. He kept fighting, and Hyun-Woo, bleeding from a dozen wounds, exhausted beyond measure, kept fighting. "Why?" The Overmind's voice was confused now. "Why do you not stop? Your bodies are breaking? Your chance of survival is 0? Why continue?" Hyun-Woo laughed. It was a harsh, painful sound. "You consumed 47 worlds, absorbed their knowledge, but you never understood humans, did you?" He shot another bioconstruct. It fell. 3 more replaced it. "Humans did not evolve to be the strongest," Hyun-Woo continued. "We evolved to be the most stubborn. On Earth, my ancestors hunted animals that could run faster, fight better, and were far stronger. Do you know how we did it? How?" The Overmind was actually curious now. "We followed them until they could not run anymore. We chased mammoths for days with nothing but sticks and rocks. We hunted predators by refusing to let them rest. We conquered our entire planet not because we were the best at anything, but because we never stopped trying." Min-Ho shouted from across the chamber. "Charges set. 30 seconds to detonation. Fall back." Hyun-Woo ordered. They ran for the exit. But Bioconstructs tried to block their path. The team fought through, leaving a trail of alien bodies behind them. 20 seconds. The Overmind's voice grew louder in their minds. "You cannot escape. I will consume you. I will learn what makes you so persistent." "You will learn nothing," Hyun-Woo replied, "because you will be dead." 10 seconds. They reached the corridor. Behind them, the chamber filled with more bioconstructs. The Overmind was throwing everything it had at them. 5 seconds. Run? Haiyan-Wu screamed. The charges detonated. The explosion was not just physical. It was biological, chemical. The payload was designed to trigger a cascade failure in hive tissue. The reaction spread from the core outward, dissolving hive structures at the molecular level. The Overmind screamed. It was a psychic scream that tore through their minds. Pain, confusion, fear. For the first time in its existence, the Overmind felt fear. What have you done? It wailed. What are you? Haiyan-Wu, running through collapsing corridors.